Can you give us your reaction and your take on what has been a very difficult week for Ulster Rugby, in the headlines almost every night this week?
Well, I'm not so sure I would agree it's been a difficult week. I think it's probably helpful to try and make sure that everybody's clear what's happening. We are determined to be a leading Irish side, a leading European side, and in that context, we're always trying to strengthen the coaching staff. We put together a coaching plan for both the academy and the senior squad over a year ago, and Brian, who's our current head coach and doing a great job, asked us at that stage if he could have a permanent contract whenever his time as head coach expired. That would allow him to leave teaching and provide for the security of his family. So we were only too pleased to offer him a permanent contract at that stage, just over a year ago, and also a contract for 1 year continuation as head coach of Ulster, which finishes in June. And he's very pleased with that position, was pleased to accept it then, and that's where we're at.
So as far as you're concerned, he was never going to be the head coach after the end of this season anyway? No. Brian's done 3 years, 3 good years, and he's taken us good strides forward. So no, there was never any question of Brian staying beyond June 2012. Why then do you think he expressed such public disappointment this week that he wasn't being kept on as head coach?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I know he's apologised if he's given the wrong impression. And,
was he reprimanded by Ulster Rugby for that press conference and made to apologise?
No, that's not Brian's form. Brian is a good guy, and I think Brian was horrified by what appeared in the press afterwards, and horrified, I think, that people would take that there was any difference between him and David Humphreys. The two guys get on extremely well and are largely responsible for taking us on the good steps of improvement we've made over the last couple of years. No, I think the person who'd be most surprised at the reaction and most horrified would be Brian. Would you agree that it has been a bit of a PR disaster for Ulster Rugby, though, over the last week or so? No. I think that... But do you think it could have been handled better? I would accept that, yes. Shane, the public perception is that Brian McLaughlin has been treated pretty shabbily over the last 7 days. Can you understand why they would think that? Yes, I think we've learned a lot about maybe how to get our message across in the media, and I think I have to apologise if we haven't done that well or clearly. The story broke Tuesday a week ago, we believe, by the agent of another coach who we have not been talking to, trying to get that coach a job in another club. We're certainly talking to other head coaches, potential head coaches now. We'll make a decision in the coming weeks and months, and then we'll announce it as soon as we have decided. Are you worried about the what-if situation? What if Ulster beat Munster? What if they go on to win the Heineken Cup and suddenly it looks like you've got rid of the coach who has made you so successful? Absolutely not. I will be, and we all will be, from Brian through, delighted if and when we beat Munster and win the Heineken Cup. We are all absolutely committed to moving Ulster bodily forward. Who have you been talking to? Can you tell us what kind of coach you're now looking forward to take Ulster forward? I can tell you that most of the names, pretty much all the names I've heard mentioned, are not the names of people we've been talking to. We're looking for a coach who will fit within the Ulster Rugby way of doing things. We're looking for somebody who is, first of all, absolutely honest. Secondly, absolutely driven to winning, but to winning in the right way, a way which is long-term, a way which is fair, which is in keeping with the best traditions of rugby. Who will fit within our system of doing things, where we have a director of rugby who is David Humphreys, where we have our 18s, 19s and 20s representative teams feeding into an increasingly good academy under Gary Longwell, and which links also with our clubs and our schools games. So whoever we get has to be technically strong, straight, be able to be completely driven to win, but fit in with the Ulster way of doing things. We haven't concluded yet. Can we expect a big name signing, or is it more likely to be a younger, up-and-coming coach? We haven't decided yet. For us, for us, the importance is getting the right calibre and the right fit. For us, getting the right fit is more important than getting a big name. It may be a big name, it may not. We haven't decided yet. Well, those are the fairly frank views of the Chief Executive, Shane Logan. Bryn, does that clear things up for you? If Brian McLaughlin, according to Shane Logan, knew this a year ago, then what's the big problem?
I think there's two very telling things there. One is that the decision was probably taken a long time ago. They'd maybe have a 3 to 5 year plan in place, and irrespective of results this season, they were always going to go with this. I think the second thing is that, as he admitted himself, it maybe wasn't handled particularly well, and that's maybe what's upset some of the general public. I think from a positive point of view moving forward, Brian moving across to the academy could actually be an excellent move, because his experience with RBI shows that he's got the mentality and the mindset to bring on young talent. And with the recent changes in the rules regarding foreign players, I think that will stand Ulster in very good stead, because I think the academy will become more and more important, and he's going to have to maximise that talent coming through.
Maurice, how do you feel the senior players, what do they make of all this? Do you sense their involvement in this or not?
No, the players will not be involved in the decision of Brian moving. And having spoken to Ian and Ian Humphreys and young Marshall, they just wanted to focus on the rugby, and I'm glad they said we're glad we just have to play rugby, and that's all we have to focus on. But then again, you've got to remember, within that squad you have multiple World Cup winners who are on seasoned internationals, and that brings its own pressure. As a former player, former international himself, you know when an international coach comes in, all of a sudden your game rises, you pick yourself up, and there may be that unconscious sort of ethos there amongst yourselves.
So do you think this is the right decision then, harsh though it may seem?
Well, I think, as Bryn said, it's a decision that Brian already knew about last season. I think he got them out of the quarterfinals, he got to the quarterfinals, he got the semi-final, which is probably was being benchmarked last year against. This year he's again reached the semi or the quarterfinals. We have the potential of going to the semi-final and final. Brian going to the academy, I think, will develop the players exceptionally well, not only just at schools but also the club and youth players coming through.
Okay, Maurice, Bryn, thank you very much. Teams are